Hey, what's up guys? Steven, the Salon Guy here, and welcome to the Salon Guy Studios. This is my new studio, and you're gonna be seeing a lot of it because I'll be filming most of my videos between here and YouTube Space in New York. But today I've got a new tutorial. I've been doing tons and tons of men's stuff, but I also obviously do women's hair as well. So I've got a women's haircut tutorial for you guys today. Here's the before. This is Emma from hairartproducts.com. This is probably one of their highest end mannequins. This is 100% human hair. This is as close to the real thing as it is a real thing really, but as close to actually working on a human as possible. This is definitely top of the line mannequin, and I'm going to do something a little bit edgy today, and I'm going to do a step-by-step because I know you guys like when I do step-by-steps. So I'm ready to go. Let's do it. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is I split this right down the middle, so the back of the head here, and here we are in the nape, and we're just going to take two sections straight across throughout the bottom here, and we're going to establish our base right into here. And you always can do that by picking up the hair to see where the hairline is. And obviously this is a mannequin and it's pretty far up. So some people have their hairline down in through here, which means you have to create a new one, or you have to, buzz it to bring it up a little bit. But I want to take this relatively short. So let's go in and we're going to start right here, and we're going to come in and just cut straight across. Okay? We're going to cut a line straight across right to the neckline. Then we'll take another section right in through here, bring this straight down, and you see I'm not using any clips. Okay, I'm not using any clips whatsoever, or my hands. We're just looking to establish a baseline right in through here. So follow along with me. If I'm going too fast, you can pause the video, then you can come back and just continue straight across like this. Now we're going to be taking this relatively close down and through the bottom here, so it's all right if you go a little bit higher than you want, because it's gonna get relatively short down into the nape area. Okay, so let's continue to do one more section, and then we'll be ready to work in through the layering. Just take one more section here, make sure it's balanced, comb it straight down like this. You can put the comb right in through here. Again, as you can see, I'm not using my hands at all. I'm not holding the hair, I'm just literally cutting it straight across. And there we go. Now, what we're gonna do, let's turn the head this way a little bit like this, so you can see the nape. We're gonna come back in now, and we're gonna take another section on a slight diagonal. Same thing on both sides. And what we're going to do is we're going to now start to bring the hair out from the head like this. And we're going to literally comb this straight out. Many of you refer to this as 90 degrees, but it's basically straight out from the head. There's the guide right down and below there. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut just like that. Then we'll extend this down a little bit, come in through the very, very bottom, just to make sure there's no weight right there, and we're going to cut it to make sure it all has a nice even. Now let's bring the next section out the same way like this, and we're basically going to do the whole back this entire way. I'm using the fine teeth of the comb to make sure that it's a really, really tight section, and that everything is going to be really, really blended nicely together. And if you need to, you can resection. And as you can see, I'm working very efficiently. I'm not using any clips whatsoever. And I'm slightly over directing to the previous section. I'm not bringing it back to the center, but I am slightly over directing a little bit to the previous section because I want to maintain a little bit of the length and the weight in through the corners. So now let's do the same thing on the other side right here, and we'll push this hair out of the way. Now I'm coming over this way. Now you can see my section right there. And I'm using just the thumb and working my way up just like that. Next section, using the fine teeth. There's the guide from before, and cut straight up like that. Now we're getting into the corner, and again, I mentioned I wanted to leave a little bit of weight. So I'm over directing slightly back to the previous section, and here we are in the last corner, and now I'm just going to bring down another section. So what I'm doing is I'm doing like two sections and then I'm going back in and then jumping to the other side. I'm not doing this side and this and this side. I'm just kind of following the natural pattern of how I see this going to stay balanced. So however you have to cut it to make sure it's balanced, then just do that. So let's do another couple of sections like this. And we're keeping it pretty much around the head shape. We're following the natural pattern of how the hair grows. And then right here into the corner, as you can see, there's a little bit longer, and we're now going to cut upwards like this, and you can cross-check by holding it straight out, and not much needs to come off. Okay, so now we've caught up to where it's even on both sides as far as the balance goes. We could probably at this point change our hand positioning. When you change your hand positioning or your body position, it means you're coming over the top this way. I just want to demonstrate to you what that looks like when you actually change your hand position or your body position. So we're palm to palm this way. Now, keeping my body in a balanced position, I'm not coming over the top this way or extending over this way. I'm literally pretty much parallel and I'm standing straight. And now here's my guide right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow upwards, just like this. I'm going to follow the natural head shape. Again, holding everything straight out, and we're keeping a nice solid pattern. So continue to do that until you get to about right here. And again, you're holding everything straight out and somewhat rounded this way. Okay, so I just want to show you the shape and how nicely balanced it is, as you can see in through here. Let's spin it around. It's got a beautiful shape to it, and it's got no harsh lines whatsoever. So what we're doing is we're following around the head shape to give it that nice, beautiful, natural curve that it has. So let's zoom out a little bit. And again, I'm doing the same thing. We haven't reached the very top yet. Take two sections. You can push this out of the way. Again, I'm using no clips whatsoever. You want to be fast and efficient. You don't want to waste 20 minutes out of your haircut time by wasting it by using clips when you don't really need to. Just push the hair out of the way. So there we go again. Now we're going from the center to the right side, and I'm combing it straight out. There's the guide from underneath, and straight up this way. Remember, you don't want to cut what you previously cut already, because that's just going to create holes, that's going to create lines and things like that. You just really don't want to botch up what you did already. So we're working really above it. Okay, let me just show you guys right into here. Again, here we're coming into the corner. Using the fine teeth so you get all those hairs right there. And now I am kind of over directing back, as you can see, to preserve that weight right in through here. Let's take the last section right into the corner, combing it back, and there we have it. Now watch, as we comb it down, you can see right in through here is where we maintain that nice length and that nice weight going right in through here. You don't want to cut too much, have any holes or any gaps. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side, combing it straight out from the head like this, and again, following the head shape straight up like that. Let's continue to do that to where we're out in the top back of the head right into here, and again, we're going to pull everything straight out so that it completely rounds out like this. Okay, now we're at the top back of the head right into here, and I'm going to now continue my pattern following the head shape. All right, there's where I left off. I can see my guide, and now I'm just continuing to follow how the hair grows out from the head. I'm not looking to create any sort of weight lines. I'm not looking to create any sort of stacking. I'm really just looking to create a beautiful, beautiful soft flow and blend from the bottom up into the top here. But keeping in mind also that this has to connect with the side somehow, okay? Because this piece here has to somehow work in. I can't just have it really all this short up here and then this really, really long. It's all got to connect, so you have to keep a good balance in your mind of saying, okay, if I cut this piece up here, this has to then live somewhere throughout the sides and also when you layer it. So here I'm pulling everything again straight out, cutting it straight up like this, and now I'm going to over direct slightly back a little bit, and here's where it gets a little tricky because the ear is now going to come into play. So that's why I'm over directing pretty far back this way. The ear is right here, as you can see. So I'm pulling this far back. So when you do that, what happens is you keep that weight right in through here, which is important. Now let's do the same thing on the other side, and then we'll be ready to move into the actual sides. Okay, so before we move into the actual sides, there's something very, very important you guys need to do, and it's cross-check. And I want you to always cross-check your work to make sure that you're balanced. So what I'm doing is I'm actually now going to cross-check the opposite way. Now, what I'm seeing here is that this is really, really heavy. Too heavy for my opinion, but we purposely did that, remember, because we wanted to leave a little weight there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in and just trim that up, just so it's not as heavy right in through here. Okay, see, it's laying better already. So I'm coming in on a diagonal, and now I'm cutting the opposite way of how I just cut it, which is going to make the hair jump out, and you're going to see it a lot more obvious when you cut the opposite way. Now we're just going to continue to do this throughout the whole back of the head, coming in more like on diagonal sections, and just combing everything straight out. And if there's any little hairs, I'm talking even if they're barely even, anything popping out, you still got to trim those, because that really, really makes the difference between a good haircut and an awesome haircut. So now I am coming over the top this way, and I'm cross-checking the exact opposite way of how I cut this. And you may find a lot of stuff. If you are finding a lot of stuff, that means that something is going wrong in the way you're cutting. So you have to really go back and see what went wrong. And this side and through here, let's turn this. So now we'll come in this way. Okay, this side isn't as heavy, but there's a little bit of that weight right there. And there we go. So now let's continue to cut and cross-check diagonally. Nothing there, that's good. And nothing there. So let's just get a good view of this right into here. It's beautiful. It's got no weight lines whatsoever. It's just got beautiful soft movement, and that's exactly what you want. So now what we're going to do is we are going to connect this in through the side. Now here is a time where you can use a clip to simply clip this out of the way. You don't want to spend 45 minutes. I see it all the time in salons. People are taking at least 15, 20 minutes out of their haircut to use clips. So now what we're going to do, you want to push the shear just above the ear like this so the hair doesn't jump up. And after you do that, you lock the comb in place, use no tension whatsoever. And we're going to come slightly longer, like that. And let's turn the head this way, as you can see. It's exactly what we want. Next piece, bring it down like this. You can use the clip to even section it for you. All right, comb straight down. Bring the comb down, push just a little bit above the ear. The comb is locked in place. As you can see, the comb is angled. And we're going to cut following that. Now, it's okay to have that little bit of weight there, because if you do want to come back in when we layer it, it's better to have that than have cut it all off. Okay, there's the next section, and then we'll take one last piece right in through here. I hope you're following along. I know this is a little bit longer than usual, but you guys seem to love my step-by-steps. Combing it straight down. Push the ear. The comb is locked in place on an angle. Just slightly going back a little bit. You want to bring this and over direct and comb a little back further so we can maintain that weight, that length. And comb this back towards you. And there we go. So this side is completely done right in through here. Do the same thing on the other side. All right, this side is done now too. Let's bring the head forward, and now let's comb it straight down. All right, and we'll work it around this way. So you can see now what's happening is this is all layered, and look how heavy this is. It's because we obviously didn't layer it, but you can see clearly the difference between the two sides. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a horizontal section, and we're going to work our way going this way towards the face, and then what we'll do is we'll connect the sides. I always like to do the top layering first. We're gonna go back, use the fine teeth, and here is a crucial point, because this still will fall back here. So you still have to now continue to round this out. And this is really what helps to prevent from seeing any sort of lines of demarcation, because we're holding it straight up from the head and how the hair grows. So that means that if you have lines here, that means there's weight somewhere. So you have to go back in and completely make sure that it's rounded out. And I always cut that way. You want to make sure you really spend the time to do this and really be precise with all this stuff, because it will make a huge difference in the haircut. Trust me when I say that. You want your haircuts to be amazing, you don't want to rush them and get them in and out in a half an hour, 45 minutes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to continue to follow up the head shape. Okay, if there's any little pieces, that's fine. Cut them off because they probably don't need to be there. Now we're working in towards the corner area, in through the back. But what we're doing is we're still connecting here, this right in through here. Now let's take a look here. So you can see from the side, it's got that great shape, but look at the back. This is seamless. It's seamless. There's no lines, no harshness whatsoever. It's a beautiful blend. Let's take this one step further, and now we're going to cut straight down the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to coat this straight back, and we want to do one more section of connecting to make sure that everything is well balanced. But now what we're going to do is we're going to cut shorter to longer, which means that our elbow is going to be slightly pointed upwards. And again, this just ensures that we are maintaining the length as we cut forward, just like that. Now we can go on the other side, comb it straight up. Again, this is all about following head shape, but now not only are we following the head shape, but we are also cutting shorter to longer, which means it's going to leave the hair longer going in through the front, and you're also maintaining some of the weight just to be safe. Okay, now let's see what happens when we pull this straight up. All right, now let's pull this straight up here. Our guide is right underneath, and we're going to cut straight across, just like this. Because now what we're doing is we're establishing our length moving forward this way. And then what we can do is we can over direct by pulling back towards us. And what this is doing, it's removing excess weight throughout the top, because we are layering this haircut, and it's going to give it that movement that is needed. Okay, coming through the front here. Again, straight up. There we go. There's our guide. We're going to over direct slightly back towards us, which means we're pulling it back towards us. And we're probably going to have one more section. Yes, let's do one more section right here, right down the middle. Let this hair fall, because we want to stay consistent within this one pattern, this one area. Pull it back towards you, over direct, and you shouldn't be cutting too much hair off. Okay, and there you go. Now, let's continue on the same pattern here, because we're on a roll. And really, that should not have affected this at all. As you can see, you should not be seeing any harsh lines, any disconnection. You really shouldn't be seeing much of anything except weight removed, which is what we are starting to see. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're now going to work in through the corners. And what we're doing is we're simply holding it straight out from the head. And we're following all the way down to the very bottom section. As you can see, straight down. Because remember, we already cut, and there's nothing to cut. Now watch, this one section right here in the back. what that does is it creates a beautiful movement and a beautiful shape right in through here. Now let's take a section again, and we're going to comb it straight out. There's our guide, and we're going to follow the roundness and the head shape. Now let's extend this all the way down, and not much should be coming off. There's that little bit of that weight. Make sure this just falls down here. You don't want to make any holes or anything. And then there you go. Okay? There we have it. Got that beautiful shape, and we're maintaining the weight, the length and the weight that we need above the ear, or below the ear. So here we are again. Now, as you can see, we're literally following a pattern. We're following a pattern of the natural growth and the way the head shape is. And there you go. And then one last section. We'll take 2 sections just to be safe. Okay, you want to slightly over direct back towards you, especially since we're leaving it a little bit longer in the front. So we're combing back towards us, as you can see, and removing just a little bit of that weight. And then here and the very front, really not much should be coming off, just right in through there. Now let's bring this down a little bit, as you can see. Now I switch to the wide teeth. Make sure it combs through nicely. And look at that shape. It's absolutely gorgeous. Now let's do the same thing on the other side. And you can do that by flipping the head around so it's facing you. Okay, so the head's facing me now. I'm going to comb this straight down, switching to the fine teeth. And there is my guide right in through here. Here's the weight right into the corner. And let's continue that all the way down right in through here. Again, there's the weight that we need to remove. Just make sure you're not cutting too much above the ear or below the ear, because you need that weight to protect it from having any gaps or holes. And there we have it. So now continue this same pattern throughout the front. You want to over direct slightly, which means you're pushing back just a little bit. There's the guide from before. Making sure it's all well balanced. You don't want to have any weight right in through here. Connect all the way to the bottom. All right. There's the length right there. There's that little bit of weight we need to remove. Not much, because again, we've already cut the length, and now we're just simply blending and removing weight. And continue this till you reach the very, very front with the same method. And again, right here, you want to push back. You don't want to comb it, because you will end up creating a hole in the side, which you don't want. So it's best to kind of over direct and push back slightly when you're dealing with the hairline. Okay, there's a little bit of weight right into there. I'm just going to continue. Okay, there is some hair up here we're going to cut to make sure it all blends in. And now let's do our final comb. I like using the wide teeth to comb it, because it really gets through the hair much easier. And there we have it. A beautiful look on this side as well as the other side. So now what we're going to do is just really be creative, comb it through, cross-check everything, make sure that it's all balanced, and you can do this by pulling it out on the hair straight out from both sides. So now is when you want to go in and you want to double check everything, you want to cross-check. You can go in, comb diagonally, just like this. Make sure everything is balanced. There's a little bit of excess weight right into there. So this is now the time to really go in, cross-check all your work, make sure it's all balanced. And remember, there were times before, see this, where we left a little bit heavy? So that's where you go back in and you remove that weight. Okay, that's what happens when you're really, really perfecting these types of haircuts. Okay, you leave yourself a little room, and it's not you're making a mistake, you're actually being safe and careful, which means you can go back in and refine. All right, it's better to leave a little excess, all right, a little leg room to go back in and to then clean everything up. So here, remember before we left a little bit excess weight right into here, and here's where we go back in, and now it's all coming together and blending beautifully. Because now, instead of cutting Now I'm cutting the opposite way. Remember, you cross-check by cutting the opposite way. All right, just a little bit like that. Let's turn the head so you can see here. And look how beautiful that shape is. Let's go back in on this side now and cross-check, do the same thing. All right, so it's fine there. Nothing there. It looks like this side we did better, and it's okay to have a better side. That's normal. Okay, that's good. And looks like we're good there, and we're good there. So now, what we can do is here's the front of the head. Now it's up to us to, let's calm that down. So it's up to us now to do what we want. We can do a side part, and we can brush this back over this way, just like this, so it gives us a nice soft shape coming around this way. We can flip it around to the other side, where we're parting it this way, and this comes around that way. Let's turn it like this. So see, we do the opposite side, and I think we're really, really good. So let's blow dry it. And how we're gonna blow dry it is we're gonna blow dry everything under. We can use a paddle brush or a vent brush to kind of push this all forward. And then we'll take a look and we will see what it's like when we're done. Okay, so let's just spin the head around, and I just want to show you when you dry this. Here's my blow dryer. What you want to do is you want to push the hair and almost wrap it around this way, going on both sides. So you're really just bringing all the hair forward, which really is going to smooth it out the best way. All right, so here is the finished result. This is the back of the head right here. I have no product in this whatsoever, and as you can see, it's got a beautiful flow. Let's spin this around this way. Here we are on the side. I'm using the wide teeth of the comb now. I like using the wide teeth to comb through it. And as you can see, it's got a beautiful shape to it. Comb it down, there you go, and there you have it. Let's bring this around. Here's the very front. Obviously, we haven't done anything with the front yet as far as what we're gonna style, how we're gonna style this. So let's bring this over like that, and let's create a sweeping look over the eye that way. And there we go. We can bring this back just a little bit like this. And this creates a very beautiful look. Let's keep going so you can see this side. Here's this side right into here. Using the wide teeth of the comb, combing it straight down. And as you can see, it's got a gorgeous shape to it. There we are. Keep spinning around. And I believe we have created a beautiful, gorgeous haircut. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and this tutorial, this step-by-step. Here is, once again, the finished look right in through here. Here's the side part. As you can see, this is absolutely gorgeous. This came out great. No product in it whatsoever. No hairspray, nothing, just purely the haircut. So I hope you really enjoyed this, and stay tuned for more tutorials from the Salon Guy. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching my videos. It really means a lot to me. Don't forget to like, leave comments, and also subscribe. So as you can see here, I've got celebrity interviews, I've got event coverage, and also more tutorials. So don't forget to subscribe and keep watching.